Hey everyone, I'm Sophia Matthews. I'm 25, and tonight I'm frozen in place at my stepmom Elizabeth's fancy charity party. Security's heading toward me to kick me out. "You're just a server," she yells loud enough for the whole room to hear. Those mean words cut deep. But what nobody knows? My husband Daniel, the billionaire secretly paying for this whole show, is about to walk through those doors. Years of their jokes about me? It's all coming back at them in a way they'd never guess. If you want to see what goes down next in this room packed with Boston's rich crowd, stick around. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Smash that like button if you enjoy this, and subscribe for more real-life family drama and payback stories.
To get why my stepmom Elizabeth would embarrass me like this, we gotta go back. I was born to Robert and Sarah Matthews. For my first 8 years, we were the perfect family. Dad built his business from scratch, a top investment company for Boston's rich folks. Mum was his rock, handling all the charity work and parties that came with his success. She made sure I stayed humble even with our fancy life. Then when I turned 8, my world broke. Mum got a really bad type of breast cancer. In just 6 months, she was gone. Dad was destroyed. He buried himself in work, leaving me with babysitters who cared but couldn't fill the huge hole Mum left. For 2 years, it was just me and Dad, stumbling through life without her. Then Elizabeth Parker came into our lives. We met her at a charity dinner. She was pretty, classy, and seemed to really like both Dad and me. At least, that's what I thought back then. I was only 10 and desperate for a mom. Within a year, they got married. Elizabeth moved into our house with her daughter Chloe, who just happened to be my exact age. I was so excited to finally have a sister. But that excitement didn't last. Small things changed first. Chloe got the bigger bedroom. She got way more Christmas presents. When she did something good, it was a huge celebration. When I did, just a quick, good job. As months passed, the difference in how they treated us got impossible to ignore. "Harper, use the guest bathroom. Chloe needs privacy," Elizabeth would say. I got kicked out of our shared bathroom. "Harper, Chloe needs new riding boots. We'll have to wait on those art supplies you wanted." My stuff always got pushed back. The worst part? Watching Dad slowly pull away from me. He worked longer hours, took more trips. When he was home, Elizabeth made sure he only paid attention to her. She'd plan family time, when she knew I had other things going on. Then tell Dad I was the problem. I heard her say it one night, fake tears in her voice. "Robert, I'm trying so hard with her, but she won't let me get close." My tired, heartbroken dad just nodded and patted her hand. "Sound familiar? Stick around, it gets worse." And the payback? It's coming. Drop a comment if you've ever felt like the outsider in your own family. Through my teen years, I worked hard at school and took part-time jobs. While Chloe got shopping trips and vacations to Europe, I was saving every penny working at the library. I didn't ask Dad for help because every request went through Elizabeth, and she made me feel like a burden. Even though Dad was rich, but there were rare bright spots. Dad came to my high school art show once, when Elizabeth and Chloe accidentally had other plans. He stared at my paintings with tears in his eyes. "You got your mom's talent," he whispered. For that one moment, I had my real dad back. Then disaster hit. The summer after my first year of college, Dad had a massive heart attack at work. By the time I got to the hospital, he was already gone. I never even got to say goodbye. The funeral was a blur of fake smiles and empty "sorry for your losses." Elizabeth played the perfect sad widow. I was just numb. Then came the will reading, and that's when I saw how completely I'd been erased from Dad's life. Almost everything went to Elizabeth. Chloe got huge trust funds and property. Me, I got just enough cash to finish college, plus a tiny inheritance that wouldn't even cover a year of living on my own. When I asked why it was so unfair, Elizabeth pretended to be sad. "Your dad wanted you to learn the value of hard work, Harper. Chloe just has different needs." The truth hit hard. Either Dad forgot me, or Elizabeth convinced him I didn't need help. Either way, it broke me. After the legal stuff was done, Elizabeth made it clear I wasn't welcome anymore. "You're grown now, Harper," she said coldly as I packed up my childhood room. "Time you found your own place." Chloe stood smirking in the doorway. "Don't worry about holiday dinners. Our traditions are changing anyway." Just like that, I was cut off completely. The only proof I was ever a Matthews? My last name. For years, barely a word from them. A birthday card now and then to keep up appearances for their friends. No calls, no invites, no real care about my life. I finished college with top grades, got a job at a small Boston art gallery, built my own life. I swore I'd never beg for approval from people who threw me away again. But life, it had a surprise coming. One that would shove me right back in front of the family that dumped me, in a way none of us saw coming. The next few years, I built my quiet life. I worked hard at Westfield Gallery, a cool little art spot in Boston that finds new artists. The pay wasn't great, but I loved helping artists get noticed. I had my own small apartment and real friends who knew nothing about my messy family. Exactly how I liked it. Then, one rainy Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. I was alone in the gallery, unpacking some new sculptures, when a guy walked in. Tall, a little damp from the rain, wearing a simple button-down and jeans. He was staring hard at some abstract paintings. I didn't recognize him then, though I definitely should have. "Can I help you find anything?" I asked, walking over. He turned and smiled, a real warm smile that reached his eyes. "Just looking," he said, "but I'm curious about this artist." He pointed at the paintings. "That's Lucia Mendes," I explained. "She's new, but people really connect with her work about feeling alone in the city. See how she uses empty space? Really powerful." We ended up talking for a whole hour. I showed him around, told him the stories behind different pieces. What surprised me? He actually listened, asked smart questions, didn't just treat me like someone ringing up a sale. "You really know your artists," he said as we finished up. "I believe in what they create," I told him. "It's easy to care about work that matters." He nodded. "I get that. Same with technology. When it solves real problems, not just makes money, that's worth something." As he was leaving, he handed me his business card. "I'd like to support some of these artists. Maybe we could grab coffee sometime. Keep talking." I said yes. Only then did I look at the card. Daniel Reed, CEO and founder, Reed Innovations. My heart skipped a beat. Daniel Reed? The tech billionaire? His face was in the news sometimes, and I'd just spent an hour talking art with him like he was any other customer. We met for coffee later that week, and talked so long we switched to dinner. He was shockingly normal for someone so rich. Grew up middle class in Seattle. Parents were teachers. He even dropped out of graduate school to start his company. "My parents thought I was crazy," he laughed, "but they supported me, sent care packages when I was broke and living on ramen noodles." I found myself opening up too, about my job, my apartment, my dream to open my own gallery someday helping kids through art. I kept it light though, no family drama. We started seeing each other. Daniel would bring lunch to the gallery, we'd try new restaurants. He never showed off his money, preferred walks by the river or small museum shows. "Money complicates things," he told me once. "I've seen what it does to people. I don't want to be that guy." But 3 months in, I still hadn't told him about Elizabeth and Chloe, or my dad, or being kicked out. How long could I keep hiding my past? 3 months later, Daniel and I were on his rooftop one night when he gently asked, "You never talk about your family. I've told you all about my parents and my sister, the environmental activist, but nothing about yours." I stared at my wine glass. "Not much to tell. Mom died when I was 8. Dad remarried, then he died too. My stepmom Elizabeth and I don't talk." Daniel stayed quiet. That silence made me want to finally tell the truth. So I did. Everything. Elizabeth's mind games. Chloe's cruelty. How Dad slowly disappeared from my life. Getting kicked out after he died. The worst part isn't the money, I admitted, tears finally breaking free. It's knowing Dad died believing I didn't need him, that I wasn't worth fighting for. Daniel just held my hand. When I finished, he didn't give me empty, comforting words. He said, "They failed you, Harper, not the other way around." Those words, they healed something broken in me. As we grew closer, Daniel never pushed me to talk to Elizabeth or Chloe. He got why I needed space. Instead, he brought me into his family. His warm parents treated me like a daughter from day one. His sister Lily became the sister I'd always wanted. 1 year later, Daniel proposed. No big show, just us walking on a Cape Cod beach at sunset. He stopped, took both my hands and asked, "Will you build a life with me?" "I love your strength, your heart, how you see the world differently. You changed me, Harper. Let's face everything ahead, together." We married 2 months later at his parents' home in Seattle. Just 30 guests, his family and close friends. No one from my side came, because there was no one to invite. Elizabeth and Chloe had no clue I was even dating, let alone marrying Boston's most famous billionaire. This wasn't about hiding, it was about protecting our happiness. My new life with Daniel was too precious to let my past poison it. For 2 years, we lived in our own happy world. I kept working at the gallery. Daniel loved that I had my own career. We travelled, made plans for kids Elizabeth and Chloe. Ancient history. Until the fancy cream envelope arrived. Return address. The Matthews Family Foundation. My hands shook opening it. An invitation to Elizabeth's big children's hospital gala. Paperclip to it. A note in Elizabeth's handwriting. "Harper, it's been too long. Let's reconnect. The family misses you. Elizabeth." I stared at those words. 0 calls in 6 years. 0 interest in my life. Now suddenly, they miss me. Something wasn't right. And when Daniel got home, his reaction would shock me even more. I showed Daniel the invitation the second he got home. Elizabeth suddenly remembers I exist. He read it, then got quiet. The Children's Hospital Gala. "Harper, that's..." He looked uncomfortable. "That's one of the events my foundation is funding this year. We're the main donor." I froze. "Your foundation? You're paying for Elizabeth's gala?" Daniel ran a hand through his hair. "I didn't know she was running it. My team handles smaller partnerships. I only check the big ones. We support the hospital every year, but I never saw her name." This wasn't a coincidence. "She found out about us," I said. "That's why she wants to reconnect after 6 years." "Probably," Daniel agreed. "Your last name is Reed now. We've been in the news. Someone likely told her." I shoved the invitation away. "Well, I'm not going." Daniel paused. "What if we did go?" I stared at him. "Why would I walk into a room with people who think I'm trash?" "Because you're not trash," he said firmly. "Maybe facing them on your terms, not theirs, is powerful." I shook my head. "Elizabeth won't magically turn into a good mom. There's nothing to gain." "This isn't about her," Daniel said gently. "It's about you closing that chapter. You built this amazing life despite them. Seeing them now might finally set you free." I thought about it, walking in there successful, confident, not the begging stepdaughter. Then Daniel dropped the real bombshell. "The foundation's donation? It's anonymous. Elizabeth has no idea I'm the one funding her precious gala." My eyes locked with his. A tiny spark lit inside me, not dread, possibility. "So, she doesn't know her stepdaughter is married to the man paying for all this?" Daniel smiled slightly. "Not a clue. We made a plan. I arrive first, alone. Let Elizabeth and Chloe show their true colours. Daniel arrives later, after I've had fun with the family. The big reveal happens naturally, in front of everyone." "Are you sure?" Daniel asked. "We can still cancel. You matter more than drama." I took a deep breath. Part of me was terrified, but a bigger part was tired of carrying their rejection. I want to do this, not for revenge, for me. The next few weeks, I picked a killer dress. Midnight blue, elegant, powerful, no Waitress uniform vibes. My nerves were a roller coaster. The night before, I panicked. What if they humiliate me again? Daniel held my face. Listen, you're walking in as my wife, a gallery director, a survivor. Nothing they say changes that. Text me anytime. I'll get you out. You don't owe them proof. His faith steadied me. For the first time, I wasn't approaching them as the needy kid, but as someone they could never touch again. That alone felt like winning. Tonight, the gala. Elizabeth wants a show. She's about to get one she never expected. The Rosewood Hotel ballroom glittered. Crystal chandeliers, fancy flower displays, Boston's richest people in tuxedos and gowns. I walked in at 7 sharp, my midnight blue dress like armor. Calm, stay calm. First face I saw, Aunt Patricia, Dad's cousin. Harper Matthews. Is that you? She gasped. Harper Reed now, I corrected. Her eyes scanned me head to toe. We haven't seen you since your father's funeral. What are you even doing these days? Before I could answer, her husband cut in. Matthews. Oh, Elizabeth's stepkid. Didn't know you were invited this year. Translation. You don't belong here. Then I saw them. Elizabeth. Blonde. Perfect. Holding court like a queen. Chloe beside her, smirking in a red dress worth my rent. I grabbed champagne. Liquid courage. Chloe spotted me first. Her fake eyebrows shot up. She whispered in Elizabeth's ear. Elizabeth turned. Her smile froze. Then it turned plastic. Harper! What a surprise, she announced loudly. I wasn't sure you'd actually come. Lie. Her note practically begged me. Wouldn't miss it, I said. The hospital's a great cause. Chloe's eyes raked over my dress. Interesting choice, off the rack? Emerging designer, I shot back. I work with them. Elizabeth fake pouted. Still at that little art shop, how? Persistent. An older man, hospital board his tag said, joined us. You work in the arts? Elizabeth answered for me. Oh, Harper's always dabbled. Nothing serious. Actually, I cut in, I'm assistant director at Westfield Gallery now. We focus on new artists and art therapy. The man looked impressed, but Elizabeth steamrolled him. Speaking of the hospital, Richard, you must hear about our new children's wing. Dismissed. Chloe cornered me away from the crowd. Seriously, Harper, why are you here? Nobody wanted you to come. Then why invite me? Her smile turned icy. Mom felt sorry for you. Near the anniversary of your dad's death, she knew you'd be too scared to show up alone. I'm not alone, I said quietly. My husband's coming. Chloe blinked. Husband? Who? You'll meet him. Before she could pry, Uncle William boomed over, already drunk. Little Harper, we thought you vanished. Elizabeth says you never call. Aunt Susan air-kissed my cheek. What career could keep you from family? I saw Elizabeth whisper to the bandleader. The music stopped. Her voice rang over the mic. Before dinner, let's thank our wonderful staff, our planners, caterers, servers. Polite applause. Then her eyes locked on me. Actually, there's confusion. One of our waitstaff misplaced her uniform tonight. Nervous laughter, heads turned. Harper, dear. Elizabeth's voice dripped fake concern. Did you mix up your roll? Guests arrive at 7. Staff use the service entrance. My face burned. This was her plan all along. Chloe stepped forward, phone already recording. Maybe Harper just wanted to see how rich people live for one night. We should be flattered. Louder laughter now. Cruel. Security guard Michael approached. Uncomfortable but firm. Ma'am, please come with me. Elizabeth swept over, Chloe filming. My mistake, Harper. I should have explained boundaries. This event is for donors. Not whatever you are now. She turned to Michael. Gently escort her out. She is family. Technically. Chloe giggled into her phone. This'll be great for the family newsletter. Harper Matthews, escorted out. Daddy would be so proud. The crowd closed in. Cousin Brandon yelled. Always trying to be something you're not. Someone sneered. Probably crashed to network. Elizabeth told onlookers, family tragedy. Some people never find their place. Michael gripped my elbow. Please, Mom, don't make a scene. I fumbled for my invitation. Look, I was invited. Elizabeth snatched it. A courtesy copy, Michael. Extended family gets them, not real invitations. Poor Harper. Misunderstood. Brandon smirked. Classic Harper. Remember Grandma's party? She crashed that too. I was her only granddaughter, I shouted, voice cracking. You never fit in, he shrugged. Some people can't take a hint. Phones were everywhere now, recording, posting. Elizabeth hissed just for me. You were always an ungrateful, difficult child. Michael tugged me toward the exit. I stumbled, humiliated, alone. Just get to the door. Then, the grand ballroom doors swung open. Silence. Every head turned. Daniel Reed stood in the doorway, powerful, impeccable in black tie. Boston's most feared billionaire. And he was staring straight at me. Silence swallowed the ballroom. Every eye locked on Daniel Reed in the doorway. Power radiated off him. Tuxedo perfect, expression ice cold. Harper. His voice cut through the quiet like a knife. He strode straight toward me, ignoring everyone else. Security guard Michael instantly dropped my arm. Sir, there's been... Daniel ignored him, took both my hands. What happened? Are you hurt? Before I could speak, Elizabeth swooped in, her social mask back on, tight and fake. Mr. Reed, what an unexpected honour! She stuck out her hand. Elaine Matthews, I chair tonight's gala. We're thrilled you... Daniel turned. His voice could have frozen fire. Mrs. Matthews, I know exactly who you are. Elizabeth flinched. Woo, we're so pleased you joined, though we were just handling a small... situation. Daniel's gaze swept over Chloe's phone, the watching crowd, Elizabeth's fake smile. Yes, the situation where my wife is surrounded by security and filmed without her consent. Wife! The word exploded through the room. Chloe's mouth dropped open. Her phone slipped in her hand. Elizabeth turned bone white. Wife! Harper's my stepdaughter, but she's not... We've been married 2 years, Daniel stated flatly. Though given the welcome she's getting, I see why she kept her connection to the Matthews family private from our friends. The meaning hit the crowd like thunder. Daniel Reed's inner circle, governors, billionaires, celebrities, didn't know the Matthews family because Harper didn't think they were worth knowing. Chloe scrambled to recover, voice sickly sweet. Harper, why didn't you tell us? What a wonderful surprise. She lunged for a hug. Daniel stepped smoothly between us. Interesting, filming her humiliation 1 minute, fake hugs the next. Chloe shrunk back, stuffing her phone away. Uncle William pushed forward, hand outstretched, sweating. William Matthews, Robert's brother. We've followed your amazing career, Daniel. Daniel ignored the hand. Have you? That's odd. You haven't shown interest in Robert's daughter for years. Elizabeth tried damage control, voice trembling. A terrible misunderstanding, Mr. Reed. Harper is loved. We just didn't know she'd married so... Well, Daniel's smile was razor-sharp. And that is the problem, Mrs. Matthews. You only value Harper based on who she's connected to, not who she is. The entire ballroom was frozen. No music, no clinking glasses. Just stunned silence. Daniel raised his voice, addressing everyone. For those who don't know me, Daniel Reed, Reed Innovations, Reed Foundation. A wave of recognition rippled through the elite crowd. What you likely don't know, the Reed Foundation is the anonymous donor funding tonight's gala. Gasps, shocked whispers. Elizabeth's face went from white to grey. Yes, Daniel continued, locking eyes with her. My foundation provided the major grant for this event. Anonymously, because we believed in the hospital, not the spotlight. He turned back to the pale, shaking Elizabeth. Imagine my surprise when my wife got an invitation from her estranged stepmother. chairing an event my money made possible, an invitation sent only to publicly humiliate her. That's not true, Elizabeth choked out weakly. A misunderstanding. I heard you, Mrs. Matthews, Daniel stated coldly. So did half this room. You called my wife's staff, accused her of crashing, ordered security to remove her, all while your daughter recorded it. He turned to the hospital board members in the crowd. The Reed Foundation will continue supporting Boston Children's Hospital, but effective immediately, we require a new event committee chair. He looked at Elizabeth. Your leadership is over. Elizabeth looked like she'd been slapped. You can't. The Matthews Foundation has run this gala for 15 years. I finally spoke, loud and clear. The Matthews Foundation existed because of my father's work I was shut out of after he died. I met Elizabeth's horrified stare. Consider this a long overdue correction. Madison grabbed my arm, desperate. Harper, please, we're family. I pulled away. No, Chloe. Family doesn't humiliate each other. Family doesn't erase you. We're just people linked by my father's memory. Nothing more. The relatives who'd mocked me minutes ago now swarmed us, babbling apologies, suddenly remembering my strength. Daniel leaned close, his voice just for me. Ready to leave? You've won. I looked around the glittering, shocked ballroom, at Elizabeth's shattered mask. Chloe's panic. Actually, I said, a slow smile spreading, let's stay for dinner. I'm finally at a family event. On my terms. Daniel grinned, raising his champagne glass just to me. To my extraordinary wife, who needed neither my name nor my money to shine. I clinked my glass against his. The whispers followed us to our front row table. Did you see Elaine's face? She tried to throw out the main donor's wife. Harper won big tonight. The rejection that haunted me for years? It just lost all its power. Days after the gala, my inbox flooded. Relatives suddenly remembered I existed. Let's rebuild our bond. Family is everything. Cousin Brandon even sent flowers to the gallery. I value family above all. I donated the flowers to the Children's Hospital. Fitting, right? Then came the real surprise. Aunt Janet, Dad's sister, asked to meet, not for damage control, for truth. Over coffee, she said what no one else dared. Harper, I knew what Elizabeth did to you after your dad died. How she made you look ungrateful, isolated you. And I did. Nothing. Her eyes held real regret. I was scared. Scared to speak up. Scared to lose my place. But staying quiet? That made me part of it. Her honesty hit deep. Thank you for saying that, I told her. Janet shared stories I'd never heard, how Dad kept photos of me hidden in his office, away from Elizabeth's jealousy, how he struggled with guilt after Mom died, and how Elizabeth used that. He loved you, Janet said firmly. His biggest regret? Not protecting you from her. It wasn't a magic fix, but it healed a wound I'd carried for 20 years. 6 months later, Daniel and I launched the Thomas Matthews Art Therapy Foundation. Our mission? Use art to help kids heal from grief and trauma. Kids like I'd once been. At the small, warm launch event, Janet stood beside Daniel's family, Lily, and my real friends. No glittering ballrooms, no fake smiles, just people who cared. In my speech, I said, art saved me when I felt invisible. It gave me a voice when mine was taken. Every child deserves that lifeline. I didn't trash Elizabeth or Chloe, but I said this. True family isn't blood or last names. It's who stands with you in the storm, who sees your worth, even when you can't. Later, walking with Daniel by the river, moonlight on the water, I realized, all those years, I thought I needed their approval to feel whole, like if they finally accepted me, I'd be complete. Daniel squeezed my hand, and now, I smiled. Truly free. Now I know I was already whole. Their opinion? It never defined me. I just had to believe it. Daniel stopped, his eyes serious. I knew it that first day in the gallery. Watching you fight for artists nobody knew, with zero idea who I was. You weren't just doing a job, you were showing who you really are, and I fell for that woman hard. Elizabeth and Chloe. Elizabeth resigned from the Matthews Foundation. Chloe's influencer career tanked when gala clips spread. We didn't celebrate their fall, but didn't save them either. Some bridges stay burned. So, to you watching, if you're drowning in a family rejection or conditional love, hear this. Your worth isn't set by people who can't see it. Sometimes, the family you choose, friends, partners, mentors, heals deeper than blood ever could. Don't quit. Your people are out there, the ones who'll treasure you exactly as you are. Drop a comment below. Have you stood up to toxic family? Found your chosen family? Your story matters. Like this video if it hit home. Subscribe for more real talk on overcoming family storms. And remember, walking away from people who can't love you right, that's the bravest act of self-love there is. Thanks for being part of my journey. May you always remember, you define your worth. No one else. The freedom, it's worth every step.